So hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And isn't it funny how starting a habit, and by starting a habit I also mean breaking a habit, because you're making a habit to get rid of another habit or to suppress another habit. But starting a habit is one of the easiest things in the world to do, and it's also one of the hardest things in the world to do. And I'll give you a very simple example. Now this is me from the outside looking at somebody else. So my uncle, he has a special cup that he uses for dinner time, lunchtime, whatever, to drink whatever it is that he chooses to drink at that time for that meal in. Then he has other cups that he might use if he's not eating, some smaller cup. And that would have been a very, very easy habit to pick up. You use a cup once for dinner or lunch or breakfast, and then you use it again, and you use it again and again and again and again. And next thing you know, that's your cup for that thing. There might be very many other cups that can hold the same amount of liquid that you want to use better than the cup that you choose. But that's the cup that you choose. Or even a spoon. You might have a spoon that you eat with. At other times of the day, you may decide, who cares, use any other spoon. But for this thing, that's the spoon that you want. At lunchtime, that's the spoon that you want. If you want to mix something, that's the spoon that you want. And those, are they small? Those small, meaningless habits, they're so easy to just become a part of our lives. We just do that thing, right? And it's no big deal. I remember I wanted to I think soak some beans or something. You soak some beans before you cook them, maybe in a pressure cooker or something. So I took this plastic container, but it happened to be the plastic container that my uncle would use at a specific time of the day to do a specific thing. And he went off the wall. And I pointed out the fact that there were several other unused plastic containers that had never been used that were available to do what he wanted to do. And there was absolutely no need to get upset. He could just use these other plastic containers for what it is that he used the other one for. But, the habit, it's so strong, it's ingrained in you that this particularly sized blue container is what I do my thing in. Those empty containers that I've never touched in a year or two, I don't want to use those. I want my container to use. And he didn't like it, must have grumbled and mumbled, but then he used the other containers. Now think of this. It would be beneficial to you. Let's say if you live in the U.S. close to the border with Mexico, depending on your job, it might be beneficial to you to learn Spanish. It might help you some way to learn Spanish. Or if you are close to Canada, and I don't know what the geography is, where Quebec is, or whatever, it might be beneficial to you to learn French. Or if you're in some other country, it might be beneficial to you to learn English or something else like that. How difficult is it to start up a habit of trying to learn that other language? It must be one of the most difficult things in the world in order to make that become this is something that's useful. This is not something as ridiculous as using a particular color of plastic container for something. This is something that will make you money. It will make your life easier, maybe. It might give you more opportunities, make you more flexible, more marketable as an employee, whatever. How difficult is it to make that a habit and start to learn that language? How difficult is it to decide that you're going to lose weight and to stick with it, or that you're going to gain weight and to stick with it, or that you're going to use less salt in your diet, or that you're going to sleep 8 hours every day? How difficult are those important things in your life against the backdrop of how easy it is to develop a habit for parking in a particular parking space? And then when you go there one day and somebody's parked in that space, you are so upset. This crazy person. Or, I don't know, having things on your desk a particular way. These uselessly minute, ridiculous habits that are so easy to develop, and these ridiculously hard habits that are so difficult to become part of your life. And it reminds me, I remember that when I was trying to lose weight, one of the things that they said was, try to incorporate the exercise that you need to do into your everyday life. Like, make it a habit now to use the stairs instead of the elevator. Make it a habit to park far away from the entrance to the place that you're going to. Or make it a habit perhaps to try riding or walking to wherever it is that you want to go. What seems to be the case is that ending a habit, or maybe starting a habit that's completely unattached to anything else in your life, is what is really the difficulty. If, for example, you cook every day. So when you're cooking, you choose a particular item that you use as a part of your daily habits. Then it seems easier to incorporate that into your life than it might be to completely spring a new habit like learning another language all on its own. What might be more effective might be, okay, you read every day. So you tell yourself, at least initially, that when it comes time to read, maybe the newspaper, maybe there's a Spanish section of the newspaper, that you can read a paragraph about, or if there's a French or English section of the paper, you read a paragraph, a sentence, and then you go about your regular day. You just try to either piggyback or slightly mold or manipulate an existing habit, and that seems to be what is more successful rather than trying to completely start an entirely new habit. I think that a good analogy is perhaps when you graft one plant onto another. If you're going to nurture a plant from a seed, there probably is going to be a lot of work that might potentially be involved in making sure that that plant matures the way that it should. But when you graft a plant onto an existing plant, not only can you graft, a whole bunch of other different unrelated plants onto one plant, but I think you would have the opportunity of using the existing root system and maturity of the initial plant in order to sustain the
graft that you've put on to it. So I think that is perhaps one of the better ways, if not the best way perhaps, of actually making the adoption of your new habit easier, in that it's not completely new, it's just an additional part of your life, which is not to say that it's completely and utterly easy. You might decide that you want to start a new habit and you catch yourself 2 weeks later at thinking, oh, wasn't I supposed to do that thing as well, to graft this new habit onto this other one? So that can definitely happen. However, it's a simple thing of perhaps putting a reminder in your phone at a particular time when you might shop, or maybe asking somebody to remind you. The thing about suppressing a habit, like smoking, like if you tell somebody I'm going to quit and you tell them, hey, remind me that I'm going to quit, from my experience, you don't want to hear them remind you that you said that you were going to quit when you said that. You don't want to hear them remind you that you said that you were going to start exercising. Or, again, if you were in bed and you say that you're going to get up at this particular time, then to go exercise, that is not within your schedule. You are not molding an existing habit or trying to pin an existing habit onto a new one. You are trying to break a habit and start a new habit, which is, breaking a habit by itself is probably tough. Breaking a habit and starting a new habit at the same time, that seems like we're giving ourselves a little bit more of a problem. And by little, I mean a huge, almost destined to fail kind of problem. Wherein, if you want to break a habit, that's going to be tough. Concentrate on that. If you want to start a new habit, that's probably going to be tough, especially in a vacuum. That's probably going to be tough to do. So yeah, you probably want to do that on its own. But, taking up time that you would have been sleeping or eating or on the couch or whatever else, you probably want to slide into that habit a little bit at a time based on another habit. So let's say you eat XYZ for breakfast. Maybe you tell yourself, okay, half a strip of bacon less than before. And instead of, that extra slice of bread, you take an apple. So you're already going to eat your bacon. You're not completely trashing that habit, but you're modifying an existing habit to say not 3 slices of bacon, 2.5 and an apple. And especially when a habit is an easy one, it seems, at least based on my experience, that it is something that you want to end up expanding on. You end up finding, okay, well, that's really easy after a while. 2.5, maybe I can go to 2 strips of bacon. And maybe I can even make a jump to 1.5. It's possible because you still have your bacon. And this is on another tangent, but people in the world, and even myself, I guess really even myself, we really, really underestimate, especially if we are not constantly learning ourselves, we underestimate how difficult it can be for somebody else to break a habit. Even if it's something that we ask them to do and they love us, so they're going to try and do it and whatever, we really, really underestimate and then we also don't know. We don't know how it is, the means of ending and starting a new habit. For example, I would have mentioned when it comes to cravings or the desire to continue your existing habit, that doesn't last long. And that's something that I remember from smoking, but I never really tied it on to other things that I do. The craving that you feel to eat this, or to have a smoke, or do this, or do that, or not do this, or not do that, that doesn't last very long. And if you can deal with those cravings one at a time as they come up, you'll realize that those are the domino pieces in your larger, I can't remember what they call those. Is it a Rubes something machine? You know, if you have a stack of dominoes and you take out two, that's, you know, it stops the whole thing. If you can learn how to deal with those cravings as they come up, you can stop your habit, that bad habit that you have. So anyway, this is on the longer side, but yeah, think about how easy and how hard it is to start a new habit, and maybe we can make it easier. Anyway, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe the same way how you'd want somebody to do to your piece if this was you talking. Have a good one. Peace.